Here with Coach Mangini, we're talking about the defending Super Bowl champs. Their 13-game regular season win streak snapped Sunday by Derek Carr and the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes struggled at times in this one. Don't take our word for it. Mahomes himself said, quote, "It's nice to kind of get this wake-up call that you can lose in this league any single week. We were kind of riding on that win streak. It felt like we couldn't lose to anybody, but now we know, and hopefully it's a good thing for us and not a bad thing." Coach, let me start with you. Should Chiefs fans be worried?
He's so happy.
I know, he's ready for this. He's been ready for this for a really long time. But the fact that the Chiefs needed a wake-up call. You know what? You go. Take it, Coach. I know you're salivating for a segment like this.
Oh, no, I mean, I remember that streak that New England had was going to be broken. It was a done deal. There was no chance that it would last, but here we are, and here we are. I don't think this is a wake-up call. This is more like they hit the snooze button after they played the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers should have been their initial wake-up call, and then this just reinforces what I've said over and over and over again, is learning how to win consistently is a very difficult thing, and it's like any other skill set. It has to be trained, and as much as Patrick Mahomes is like Superman, there's some weeks that Superman, can't do it. Hits his kryptonite, and other people have to step up. And the difficult thing about going through this process is that each week, every single team is giving their best effort to you. And it is really difficult as a team to be up every single week, especially if the perception is the team isn't as good as us. And I remember back in 2002, we started out great. We blew up the Steelers, then we blew up the Jets. I think it was 44-13. Then we win a nail-biter against Kansas City, and we score 41 points. And then we lose 4 straight games. And it was one of those things where, as much as we thought, okay, we'll get right next week, there's real learning that has to go into that. And the value in this loss, if there can be a value in a loss, is understanding what you have to do week in and week out in order to match the intensity of your opponents. And it is not an easy thing.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
So the Chiefs played really poorly against the Raiders. The offense can be way better than it was, scoring only 32 points. And the defense was obviously bad throughout the game. And if you are going to point to an issue of concern, actual concern, not manufactured false concern because the Chiefs have seemed invincible for 10 months, it is that offensive line is playing the worst it's played in 3 years. Mitchell Schwartz has been the best right tackle in football for 3 years. He has not played like it. And in this Raiders game, their biggest offseason addition, Kelechi Osemele, their left guard, blew out both of his knees. So that, to me, is a real, legitimate concern point and something that needs to get better. But this idea that they've been sleepwalking since the Chargers game. Yeah, all they did since the Chargers game was blow out the Ravens and blow out the Patriots. That's all. And this idea that the Chiefs are in some massive trouble when they're one of the only 2 teams in the league with a top 8 scoring offense and a top 8 scoring defense is foolishness. And the idea that the Chiefs have these glaring holes when in a 32-team league there is one, Seattle, who has more wins than them is obviously insane on its face. And finally, Brandon, I have been hearing for 2.5 years, better watch out. The league's going to figure out Mahomes. Oh, there's been something that's been unlocked. And then he has proven that to be insane. So maybe all of a sudden, it's just, it's reached midnight for the Cinderella Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to say they played a bad game against a divisional rival, and they're going to be fine. That's my take.
So you tried to anticipate where I was going. You thought that I was going to say that the league figured. So you're trying to. Yeah. I love it. No, here's the situation. And I'm going to go to the other side, Coach. I don't believe that it's a wake-up call. I think that the league has finally figured out how to slow them down. Not figured them out to where they're not going to be great, they're not going to be good, they can't go in the game and just blow a team out. But we know now how to slow them down. I've said it 3 times on the show in 5 weeks. You go back to week 14, 2019, the Patriots put it on film, play zone. That's what you do, and take away the screen. And what did they do this year? Patriots did the same thing. What did the Raiders do? The same thing. But, Nick, you said something, and you took the words out of my mouth. Their issue is not that it's a wake-up call and they hit the snooze button. Their issue is that on the offensive side, they are second worst in the league in giving up pressure. And it doesn't help that their left guard went down with 2 blown-out knees. Yep. But this guy is also part of the problem. Mahomes is also part of the problem because he drifts in the pocket. So when you see him run around and he can't get the ball out of his hands, or there's nobody coming open, and we're used to him making big plays outside the pocket, we're seeing this great defense, great offense become average. Because we know on the defensive side, they've never been great. So this team is built to put up 40, 50 points. So if you slow down this offense, and then if you are able to put up points, then you're in the battle. And that's what we're seeing here.
Coach, can you explain something to me? The old Bill Parcells rule, like your record is your record. And sometimes I believe that. And then I watched the Patriots lose to the Seahawks, and I was like, I don't know, I feel pretty good about that. And I've been watching the Chiefs. And like, all right, Chiefs beat the Texans. Texans end up firing their coach. We knew that they were a disaster. Then they barely beat the Chargers on 2 58-yard field goals. And if Anthony Lynn decides to keep the ball, Anthony Lynn probably win. Then you smash the Ravens. Bravo, there's a good win. Then you scored 6 points on the JV Patriots as Brian Hoyer doesn't know what he's doing and Jarrett Stidham's throwing interceptions. And then you lose to the Raiders.
6 points?
So, yeah, you 6 points at halftime. 6-3. You're winning 6-3 at half. And then it all kind of fell apart. Then the javelin came in. But the idea that that was a blowout, like that game was way closer than it was. And you're playing the JV squad. Anyways, Coach, is there reason to be concerned because, like, hey, the way that we're winning these games is not impressive? Or it's like, no, man, you're overthinking it. A win is a win. That's the way football works.
Well, at the end of the day, a win is a win. And you're going to be happy if you come out on the positive side. But the issue is a little bit of the way that Nick has approached things, where there's this assumption that you're going to break the streak of consecutive wins. There's an assumption that things are going to get right. There's an assumption that you're going to win the game. You look at the Chargers game. It's a rookie quarterback in his first start, and it's 2 58-yard field goals in overtime with what, a couple minutes left to win that game. So yeah, you can go into every single game with the assumption that Patrick Mahomes is going to be unbelievable, that everybody's going to rise up. But one of the things that made Jerry Rice great is he went into every single day assuming he was going to get cut. He went into every single practice with that type of work ethic and dedication, and that's what made him great when he was already great. That's what allowed him to sustain the success. And if you collectively take a week off, or you collectively think that this team can't beat me, that's where you struggle. And I'm not saying this because it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm saying this is because it's what I experienced after winning the Super Bowl, is that at times, as much as you want to say it won't happen, human nature is to relax. And you have to learn that you can't relax in that position. And it's a hard thing to learn and to realize and to incorporate into your everyday routine.
Listen, I understand what's happening here. I am what is called a sore winner. When things are going my team's way, whether it's LeBron or the Chiefs, I am really obnoxious. And so folks are reveling, especially you four, are reveling in this moment. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Right now, and Coach, Wilds, Brandon, anybody, is there a team in the AFC that you think, as we sit here today on October 14th, 2020, is better positioned than the Chiefs to make this year's Super Bowl? Is there an AFC team you would take over the Chiefs right now? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
Anybody?
It's not about, Nick, it's not about right now. It's about what are you capable of doing throughout the entire season? What are you capable of doing when it comes December? Are you where you need to be? So I can name a couple teams. So, the Colts will be in position, could possibly be in position. The Steelers, the Titans, the Ravens. There's 4 teams right there that are more than capable of beating them any given Sunday.
Hey, Nick, when we were...
You got to prove it. You got to earn it, and you got to prove it every single week. Every single play, to Coach's point, you have to prove it. You can't just go off of, oh, we have Patrick Mahomes, we have 3, 4 wide receivers and tight ends. You can't do that.
When we were in New England in 2001, we were 5-5. Bill showed a horse race, and he showed the horse race, and he stopped it midway through, and he said, who's ahead? And someone named whatever horse it was, and he goes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's ahead at that point. It matters who's ahead at the end. And you saw Pete Carroll talk about, can you win the game in the first quarter? Well, look, there's a lot of things that can happen. Obviously, injuries can play a big part. And let's see how they respond to this adversity. And as much as we want to project out, X number of weeks down the line, the league has a strange way of changing things up because of the way that injuries take place. But that Tennessee team looked pretty rough last night with 2 days of practice.
I don't know how what the Chiefs ever do.
We got to move on. The Jets, guys, the Jets released All-Pro running back Lev Bell last night. Could he actually be headed back to Pittsburgh? We'll discuss next. First things first.